Okay, so this is an exciting, well, I'd say it's an exciting week because every week is exciting. As particularly as we prepare for those of you that are following the Freedom Formula, we are preparing for our quarter restart webinar, July 3rd, 1 p.m. Come join us, get into the Freedom Formula. You can, below this link that you're watching right now, I'll post a sign-up feed. You come, the webinar is free. We're going to get into how to get clarity, traction, and freedom back generated in your life. But it's going to start with a real deep dive. It's a webinar July 3rd, Friday, July 3rd. As we're preparing for that, there's all kinds of exciting things that are going on. Next week, that's Monday. What's the date? It is going to be Monday, June 22nd. We're going to have one of my greatest mentors and public speaking trainer, Roberto Monaco. Roberto has worked with many of the greats. I mean, if you're in the professional or in the healthcare industry, if you're in any form of entrepreneurialism, you've probably heard of Roberto Monaco. He's worked with Tony Robbins and many, many other big names out there. I'm going to have him on this. I'm going to be doing this live on Facebook with Roberto Monaco Monday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's noon on the East Coast. I'm super excited to have him on. He's going to be sharing his thoughts about speaking in the public space and his programs influencing from the front. Like I said, if you are interested in or you're thinking about getting into any form of whether it's public speaking, social media engagement, anything like that, I encourage you to be on and listen to that. It's going to be so good. And if you think that I've got high energy, wait for Roberto. He knocks it out of the park. So that's Monday. Today, this is my version of the Coach's Corner and the Men of Iron or the Freedom Formula podcast. And today I want to share a quick story. I want to share, as I'm preparing for all these things, you can imagine I'm losing my hair and everything else is going on. So this past week, as we're coming out of COVID and everything else that's going on and things are opening back up, I've had to rejig my cycles, my routines, my patterns, my habits. So for any of you guys that follow me, you guys are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And any business that's run at a high enough level, you can relate in that we all have systems, habits, procedures. We've got protocols for how life is lived or how we run our businesses. But I also encourage that into our clients. So when we look at designing your ideal week so that you look forward to every Monday, you look forward to every Tuesday, and you design those based on your values and your mission and everything else that you got to kind of tweak in, to the point where that little roughened diamond that you may start with turns into a really polished gem, and it provides you with power and energy such that every week just gets better and better as opposed to draining you. Well, this week was a humbling one. This has been a restart to, like I said, it's kind of the post-COVID routine. So I hope this resonates with some of you that are listening. But this past week has been wonderful on certain aspects, in that Tracy and I have been getting out. We've been going to 9 rounds of kickboxing, 6:15 in the morning. I think we did that 3 times this week. It was awesome. But at the same time, I started to notice something. We were getting that done. We're getting our business restarted. We've got our webinar coming up. I'm getting all these. We got the kids going on. I did zip lining with the kids last week. So many different things are going on. And it's awesome, particularly when you have your routines, patterns, and habits dialed in, because then it takes a lot of the thinking out of the way so that you can just show up and be present. So again, if you are a high-performing entrepreneur, or if you're into any form of business that requires a level of systems to perform at the level that you're at, you'll understand this. Like I said, this past week didn't work very well. So what happened was this is how it shows up for me. Follow me. I get to my workout Wednesday morning. Tracy and I had gone down our workout at 9 rounds, kickboxing. I'd already pre-scheduled the gym back out in Sydney and Panorama. It's about 20 minutes away. So I went to the gym, and my habit, my routine following the gym is go to work. Well, I'd forgotten to go home. I'd forgotten to go home to get all my gear, all my clothes, my dress clothes for the office. So what I did was I got to the office and I had a patient that was already waiting for me. I mean, they were 10, 15 minutes early probably, but I had 10 to 15 minutes to figure out what I was going to wear, how I was going to shower, and get organized. And there I was with panic, anxiety, and this overbearing fear that was sitting right on top of my chest. And there I was trying to figure out what was going on. I was completely out of sync and out of routine. Even though I'd accomplished a bunch in the morning, I managed to actually get back out to the peninsula, get a shower, change clothes, reorganize that patient a little bit, get back on time. That does not excuse me from the situation, but what happened was I started to recognize that I was developing a low-grade anxiety. I was carrying a lot in my brain. I was having to think and process my new routine, when I was going to fit X, Y, and Z in. And what I noticed is I was just leaking power and energy. I was exhausted at the end of the night, as opposed to full of energy, feeling like I was accomplished and getting through things. I was just beating myself up. And it wasn't that the things that I was doing were wrong. It was simply that the order in which I was doing them just wasn't simply working for me. So here's what I want you to consider. If you guys have already done this work with me, the ideal week, the general's tent, your values, your mission statement, etc. What I want you to do is in your general's tent or your base camp work this weekend, when you reflect upon what you did the previous work in your body, your fulfillment, your relationships, and your business, I want you to go back and look at what days really clicked, what really worked, what didn't work for you, and see what are the little patterns that you may need to shift around. For me, I've learned when I get up in the morning, I like to get up and I like to read, I like to meditate, I like to do my Patriot Missile game, I like to get organized, and then my body is set. My body and my mind are ready to go exercise, get my endorphin kick, and then I am set and ready in power and aligned with myself for the rest of the day. So I want you to consider right now, grab a journal, grab a pen, write it down. Which days this week worked and clicked? Which days didn't? And what are the things that you may need to rejig, move around for next week ahead of time, organized in your schedule so that things start to roll a little bit more smoothly. And I want you to consider that repeating the weeks over and over again is how you get that traction, but it's also how you get into the routine so you stop thinking about what you have to do on a particular day. The more things, now I understand as a parent, sometimes things just pop up. But what I'm saying is the more routine and the more organized and patterned you can get within your week, the less you're having to process, the more you can spend time and energy on the things that you want. That's all I got for you today. It's Dr. Ryan P. Doyle, and I am out.